voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas. I'm all over the place. Dave joins us on the... Are you a guest on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, or are you just like one of the guys on the show calling in, but on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline? Like, I don't want to undersell you, and we want to mention, the client. So are you? You're a guest. You're a guest on the show this afternoon. Dave, how are you? How are you, and where are you?
I am well. I am just on the road right now, but I would prefer to be a consumer of Western Pizza. So let's go with that.
All right. Depth chart is out. I said this on Monday. I said Jacob Brammer's not playing. I just have a funny feeling. And I said, no, don't read anything of that. Peyton Collins, you've got your work cut out for you tomorrow. You're the new left tackle for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. You've watched him in training camp. You watched him in preseason. Who is he, and should we feel confident that Coach Mace is putting so much faith in him?
Well, he is a very big, athletic man, went to Eastern Kentucky University in the States. He had some looks after he was done there, and he came up to Riderville. Again, a big body, very athletic, and it's the second season in a row, right, that we're going to start a rookie left tackle on game number 1. This time it's a little more difficult when you're going to line up against Lorenzo Molden of the Ottawa Red Blacks, who knows what to do when it comes to rushing a quarterback. But that said, he's done all the right things. He's done the work. He's prepared. And I think he's earned the opportunity. So those are all good things. And we all talked last year about the work that the coaching staff did with the offensive line. And I think that's where we trust right now. And Peyton Collins is going to have an opportunity to show off that work.
So we've got Peyton Collins, left tackle, Trayvon Tate, left guard, Logan Ferlin at center, right guards Fry, and Jermarcus Hardrick, who for a lot of us, because he got injured so early last season, really haven't had a chance to see him in Ryder Green in round 2 do his thing. He's an excitable guy. We've had him on the cage. We've had him in Century Studios. How excited do you think he's going to be to playing meaningful football tomorrow?
Off the charts. I think that he has been looking forward to this day for an awful long time. If you don't know the backstory, he underwent surgery last year on that leg injury, and it was really the first substantial injury of his entire career. So he talked about the rehab process, and again, it's a little bit graphic, but there were points where his wife had to help him go to the washroom, right, and get into the tub. And he said that the rehab process was tough, and he talked about drawing a lot of inspiration from his kids. And he's a very proud family man, and I know that he was so excited to get back to Regina and the Saskatchewan Roughriders last season. And while he barely got his toes wet, he really made an impact very, very early and became a mentor to the entire offensive line. So I know that it's been a battle for him to get back, and the work that he has done to returning to the player that he was, I think is complete. And like I say, it's going to be really exciting for him and the fans to see him out on the field.
Keyshawn Johnson starts at wide receiver. That's not a surprise. But on the other side, you've got proper name Dante, but as we know from Luke's conversation with him in training camp, it's just Donnie Myers who is getting the starting spot. I like that. Everything we saw last year, and every time he was on the field, he just seemed to make plays. Is he one of those guys to you, Dave, that just kind of has the knack to be around the ball and have a little bit of luck when it comes to where he needs to be and how he needs to do it?
I would suggest he had no luck last year because he had the hand injury late in camp last year, which kind of limited his participation. He battled his way back. He found his way onto the roster because, let's face it, the things that Joe was doing early, you couldn't take him out of the lineup. So when Joe went down, then Dante Myers comes in and reasserts himself and kind of showed what he did in training camp. And it took a little bit of time to pick up where he left off, but he did so far so good, I would suggest, and you're right. He does the little things right. He gets to where he needs to be, and the guy's got speed.
Kean Schaefer-Baker, obviously a lock at slot back. But on the other side, Del Duncan Busby listed ahead of Mitch Picton on the depth chart. Doesn't mean that they're not both going to play. What skill set is Duncan Busby bringing that puts him ahead in your mind of Picton to be getting the start tomorrow?
You know what he's shown in camp, that he has a great grasp on the playbook. Again, he's been real crisp in his routes. He's made plays when he's had the opportunity, and I think he's kind of been groomed for this spot and this opportunity. And again, he too had to wait for an opportunity because he got banged up at the end of training camp with the hand injury last year. And then, of course, Ajo took off. So again, another guy that kind of got pushed down the depth chart thanks to the great play of Ajo. Not that we're complaining about it. And now he's got the opportunity to go ahead and, again, pick up where he left off, and he asserted himself, right? He can come up with some key catches at key times. So it's going to be fun to see what he can do.
Our punter tomorrow night is going to be Joe Couch, but we did sign James Evans, who, for if you don't know, was in camp with the Bombers, and they offered him a practice roster spot, and he said no. Ballsy move. I'm going to go bet on myself, and it pays off. Days later, he's now a Saskatchewan Roughrider. Whether we see him on the roster anytime soon, we don't know. Flipping to the defensive side of the ball, Malik Carney, defensive end, Micah Johnson, one of the D tackles, Mike Rose, D tackle, and then you've got Shane Ray on the other side. Now, he was a little nicked up, didn't play that last game. What is it about Shane Ray outside of familiarity with Mace or whatever, but why did he earn this spot coming out of camp?
Natural athletic ability and off-the-chart compete and desire to be physical. Those are just kind of the three attributes that really you could see set him apart, right? And that's what makes him tick. That's what he was able to provide south of the border when he was playing down there. And he's got total buy-in. It's all about team. It's all about, going ahead and making sure that the job gets done no matter how it gets done. And those are the things that set him apart. That's what the coaching staff is smiling at. And they know and they believe that if he brings it, which I don't have any doubt that he will, that he can be a disruptive force across the entire CFL.
You threw out a stat last week that somebody said, well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders don't get any pressure on the quarterback, and you proved otherwise and said, no, here are the receipts from Pro Football Focusing. The Saskatchewan Roughriders actually get more pressure on the quarterback than anybody else. They just weren't getting quarterback sacks. Do you think with what they've assembled on the D-line that they're going to be able to get pressures and sacks this year?
Well, you know what? When you get a quarterback sack, a lot of things have to fall into place, including completing the play, right? Because number one job for a pass rusher, yes, is to get a sack, but it's also to adjust the launch point of the quarterback. And you look at that defensive line interior with Mike Rose and Micah Johnson. Wow, is that formidable? And I say Mike Rose has got a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He didn't like the way things ended in Calgary. He's come in with something to prove. And he's done that and more, in my estimation, throughout training camp. Those two can be absolutely dominant in the way that Micah Johnson takes up double teams. That's going to allow for more players to have opportunities to make plays. So does a pass rush always equate to quarterback sacks? No, but it certainly goes a long way.
Strong side linebacker, CJ Rivas. Jameer Thurman in the middle. Game time decision, is CJ Avery your will linebacker? What are you thinking? Is he close? Is it 50-50, 60-40? Like what do you think is going to be the determining factor there if we see him tomorrow night?
Again, right now the team is erring on the side of caution when it comes to long-term injury. So if it's best to hold a player out for game one of the regular season to make sure that they're available in week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and again, I'm just drawing numbers out of a hat, then you do that. You don't. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The CFL season, right? So if he's not entirely good to go, this coaching staff, I'm convinced, is going to err on the side of caution, which is great for the athlete and great for the team because there is some pretty formidable depth in behind him, and it definitely goes ahead and makes for some interesting conversation as far as who might play behind him. A.J. Allen has had a terrific camp in that spot. You've had Jaden Dahlke playing on the linebacking core as well. So, again, you look at the depth chart, there's a lot of options that are available to the coaching staff, and definitely no panic and definitely no need to push him to be able to get into the lineup sooner than when he's ready.
Charleston Hughes was on the show in hour number 1, and he said that on his TSN Top 50, Roland Mulligan Jr. should be number one because he plays special teams and is a demon on defense. Oliveira only plays offense. So Roland Mulligan Jr. is back there doing his thing. If you had to pick the top two in that TSN Top 50, would you put Milligan ahead of Oliveira like Charleston did?
You do know where I'm going to be standing tomorrow, right? I want to be lit into the stadium, so of course I would. And you know what? The versatility and the athleticism and the year that Roland Milligan Jr. put together last year, I do believe that he really, really, really should have been considered as the most outstanding player in the league. That said, he is a heck of an athlete. So too is Brady Oliveira. I don't want to take anything away from him, but again, knowing the stadium that I'm hoping to get into tomorrow, of course it's zero.
Well, just listen. If anybody's got a problem with that, we'll just give him Charleston's cell phone number. He loves to chat, which is great. Oh, and by the way, Dave, I'm not sure if you have a suitcase ready and it's already packed for late November for Winnipeg and the weather. But one Charleston Hughes, CFL legend, said it's going to be the Saskatchewan Roughriders taking on Bo Levi Mitchell and the Hamilton Ticats in the Grey Cup this year. You can take that to the bank. Put some money on that.